I look at this from a very what if perspective, which you're not gonna like that, but hear me out. Let me cook for a second. I look at this from a very what if perspective. When you say Austin's better, no, when you say Cena's better, you're also not factoring in the organicness. So, like I said, Cena went through trial and error. Cena had moments where he wasn't very good and he had to get better. And it's nice to see someone get there, just like get that. So now it's nice to see someone climb that mountain and climb that ladder. But the thing is Austin, while they were planning to push him, nobody ever thought, Vince included, that this redneck, very relatable, no nonsense, authority challenging character was going to be the biggest organic character in the history of a wrestling crowd.
Time out. We keep talking about these what ifs. What if Austin sucks after he comes back? That's just before you say, whoa, that's illogical. It's a possibility, because now we throw the realm out into fiction. I'll tell you about a what if that was answered to you, Jordan. What if John Cena got Austin's number 2? Oh, he did. And he ends up having the highest sold WrestleMania of all time. What if John Cena had a consistent number 2 like The Rock for the entirety of his time? He did. And he has the number 2 and number 6 highest sold WrestleMania, highest bought pay-per-view when they were buying pay-per-views for $60. He did, and the number skyrocketed past what Austin could have ever done with The Rock. You don't got to talk about what ifs with John Cena, because he is the what if. What if Austin had 20 years of dominance? He would be John Cena. What if Austin could wrestle longer? He would be John Cena.
You're trying to argue it's that much of a
I'm not arguing that. You don't have to know. You don't have to argue it, Jordan. That's the thing. This is the best part. I don't have to argue it because it's a pure fact that when John Cena had Austin's number 2, he did double, triple, quadruple the numbers in the name of hustle, loyalty, and respect. Matter of fact, I'll do you one even better. He did it thrice, because when The Miz and John Cena were main eventing and The Rock hosted, guess what? That's the number 3 highest bought pay-per-view of all time. Every single time Cena has had Austin's number 2, he's doubled it in sales. You can argue that Austin was organic. I will give you that. John Cena was too. You act like John Cena was planned to be this top guy since he came in from OVW. No, it was Lesnar. Then it was Batista. Then it was Orton. John was the last guy looked at, because everybody else had the stature of this man. You want to know why John Cena was fake? You want to know why John Cena got to the point where he needed to be? Jordan, you know the answer to this, because Stephanie McMahon saw him in the back of a bus like he was Rosa Parks rapping with Rey Mysterio. And the fact is that after that, he goes and drops a platinum album. I have no reason to believe that John Cena isn't organic. If you want to say he got stale, that's fine. But then he gets a microphone and has the crowd split 50-50, where even the haters have to say, let's go, because they can't deny greatness. What if Austin had 20 years? I'm not done with my what ifs, Jordan. What if Austin had 20 years, then the Benoit stuff happens, and now he has to go into the PG era, and he can't cuss up a storm. He can't flip off of Vince McMahon. He can't drink beers off of beer trucks. He can't do it. What if he can't? What if they asked Stone Cold Steve Austin? No, you can't go and be rated R like they limited John Cena to. What if they told Austin, like John Cena, you gotta go PG? Would he have been as successful? I don't know, but I know who would. I know who has stood the test of time. Whether he got the limitations of a PG superstar, whether he got the ability to break free of the chains of the PG star that he was in 05, 06, 07, whether he was held down by the chains of a reality era and an aging Vince McMahon. I don't need what ifs with Felix Anthony Cena Jr. because he is the what if.
Okay, so you say that, but why? Okay, but why does he not have a single peak like year above Austin's?
Define peak
2000.
Define peak year.
Like, why is he not organically does Cena lead in any draw metric like at all?
Like all time?
No, yeah, because the answer is no.
5. He has the highest bought 5 out of 10 highest bought pay-per-views in wrestling in WWE history.
Okay, and Austin at like 58 years old main evented WrestleMania 38 night 1, which I guarantee is another massive house under his belt. And
John
before
Cena hasn't even hit his 50s yet. Again, why are we talking?
Cena's not ever wrestling again. What's the point?
Okay, at 48, he did a bigger house.
I'd have to fact check that, but yeah, probably. But the thing is that okay, 58, 48. What the? I mean.
Okay, well, regardless,
and then you talking about, oh, well, Austin couldn't do this in the PG era, Austin couldn't do that, Austin couldn't do this. Then if that's the case, then why every time he came back to make a appearance or whatever, he just kind of did whatever he wanted and nobody really rejected it or had a problem with it?
Wait, what did he do that pushed the lines of PG? He didn't do a Rock. Like, I could do that with the Rock, but then Rock had to tone it down. No, because
he didn't do anything different from his old self. He was just himself.
Hey, no, he didn't cuss. He didn't come out there and flip everybody off.
He did cuss
every 5 seconds. No. Yes, he dropped a few words here and there. Nowhere near as much as the Attitude Era, and he never had like a full on segment or build up to anything. He comes there, makes a one-off appearance, does the Austin shtick, then leaves. It wasn't like a Rock. You want to know somebody who's held accountable for that? Somebody who was better than Austin on the mic. Somebody who lived off of the Attitude Era's edginess, just like Austin. The Rock. He comes back in 2012 and gets fried by John on the mic. Gets cooked by CM Punk on the mic. Why? Because the PG era is different. No, Rock, you can't go out there. You can't go out there and say the same stuff that you did back in 1997. You can't go out there and say the same stuff that you did in 1996 because we're in a different era because of circumstances that have happened that are out of our top superstars' control. So what are you going to do to adjust? The Rock did adjust, just not good enough to keep up with Big Match John. But John Cena did his part where he pushed The Rock into the biggest main event at the time in WWE's history.
And that's where the argument is. A lot of people would argue. I mean, yeah, at the time, I mean, by the metrics it is, but most people would argue that the build-up, and most people would argue at 17. Like, most people would argue at 17.
Okay, but wait. Just because you can argue, I can argue that the sky is red when I wake up.
Oh my God, no, Reese, we can't do an analogy. We can't do it. What are your analogies about?
I can argue that the grass is black. I'm factually wrong. I can argue that John Cena is the greatest of all time. I'm factually right.
No, you're not factually right because Austin did it more effortlessly.
You're talking about metrics here, and I know
Austin did it more effortlessly. Austin didn't have to do it for 20 years to be a GOAT. Austin had to do it for 6. So he did it for 6. He did it for 6 at a high level. And then before that, people forget his career before that. His career before that is really, really good. But his GOAT years,
Austin's really good too. He just wasn't there long enough.
But he was before.
He just wasn't there long enough. Just wasn't there long enough, and I can't go off of what ifs.
We comparing 20 to 6.
I can't go off of what ifs.
20 years to 6.
Austin's career is so. Look, this is what happens when
it's actually 22. It's 22.
It's the same thing that we do with Jordan. It's the same thing that we do with all these other guys who don't have the longevity to back up their stuff. It's what if this guy played 20 years? I don't know. Because it's a different era and you have to adapt. And when Austin's number 2 came and walked in the PG era, he got fried by the top guys and John was outdoing him times 10. Why? Because it's
Austin
a different
didn't
era.
Get fried by any top guy ever. What are you talking
about? The Rock's never been fried by any top guy ever?
I said Austin. He did not get fried.
Didn't get the chance to. Because he retired
Austin probably wouldn't have.
Wait a minute.
Doesn't mean that they would have been the bigger deal, bro.
Austin never got fried by the Rock.
Right now, Austin never got in a heated.
Austin never got in a mic fight with the Rock. Are you saying that right now?
No.